And watching news now on News Central TV. We would like to apologize for starting this bulletin late. I'll be 13 minutes behind schedule. But let's get started with the news this morning. We begin the news in Nigeria, where the House of Representatives has approved President Bola Tinubu's request to extend the implementation of the capital component of the 2023 budget from June to December 2024. This followed a letter transmitted from the President to the House, which was read on the floor of the House by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Idong Joseph reports.
Shortly after the commencement of plenary, the bills to extend the capital component of the 2023 budget and the supplementary budget till December the 31st, 2024 was introduced by the majority leader of the House. He described the move as a way to ensure the completion of all ongoing capital projects.
That essentially the date be adjusted from 30th June 2024 to 31st December 2024.
This marks the third time the implementation of the two bills has been extended by the parliaments. It was first extended to March the 31st, 2024, and later extended to the 30th of June, 2024. During the debate on the general principles of the bill, several lawmakers expressed a diverse view, with some of them arguing that while it is legal to extend the capital components of the budgets, it is wrong to have multiple budgets at the same time.
We will not just criticize, but profile an alternative, sir. And therefore, I will suggest that the House leader steps down this bill, and then we go back to the drawing board. Look at it, all the projects that are contained in 2023 budget and 2023 supplementary budget, we take them over to the 2024 supplementary budget.
We must unite ourselves and we must stand collectively and send a signal to the government of the Federation that not everything could fly. When you have a budget being extended continuously, it means the government is lagging behind in the pursuance of the implementation of that bill.
In response, the House dissolved into an executive session to deliberate further on the matter. The Speaker of the House appealed to members to allow the passage of the budget extension.
And in so doing, we have approved clauses 1 and 2. Clause 3 as amended, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill.
Lawmakers say the passage of the bill proved the Parliament's unwavering commitment to ensure that projects outlined in the budget are completed for the good of citizens. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
In the meantime, the Senate has denied approving the purchase of a new presidential jet for President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima, as speculated. There were reports that President Tinubu was seeking the National Assembly's approval of funds for the purchase of a new presidential jet. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during Thursday's emergency plenary session, clarified that there is the presence of a fifth columnist doing everything possible to destabilize the parliament.
By answering people in the social media, because the social media is garbage in, garbage out. I was in Zanzibar attending to inter-parliamentary union meetings when that information went out that the Senate President has said he will approve a brand new plan for the President, irrespective of whether there is suffering or no suffering. There was never a time such a statement came from me, because I've never had any correspondence to approve a plan or not to approve a plan. And I did not want to answer, but they went further to generate it, and then they went wrong as if I was saying that I did not care about the Nigerian people, I did not do this. We care about the President, we care about the Nigerian people. We will approve things that will benefit the Nigerian people. We will approve things that will improve the living standard of the people. At the same time, we will also take cognizance of the duties of Mr. President. If it's vehicle is bad, we will repair the vehicle. If his plane is bad, we will approve money for the repair of the plane. So that is not an issue. There is nothing before us.
Earlier, we're joined by Judith, a public affairs analyst, and here's what he had to say. Take a look.
It's not out of place to say, okay, for the president's safety and security, buy him a new plane. What has happened with those 6 that he has? How well maintained are they? My brother, the challenge with Nigerian state is we have poor maintenance culture. The presidential air fleet, the oldest of all the aircraft in that fleet, from what I learned, is about 19 years. We have planes of 40, 50 years that are still flying. And it's not like the president goes to work and back home with his presidential jet. In a whole year, he may not go outside of this country up to 5 times. It's at his discretion how many times he wants to venture out of the country on business meetings and all of that. So the point is, has there been proper...
And still on Nigeria's presidency, President Bola Tinubu has approved the National Construction and Household Support Program to boost agricultural productivity and provide economic relief to Nigerians. The program includes the rollout of several road and rail infrastructure projects, including the Sokoto-Badagry Highway and the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. The president has also approved funding for the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri Railway, the Ibadan-Abuja segment of the Lagos-Kano Standard-Gauge Railway. Additionally, the program includes allocations for bus procurement, uplift grants for families, and food distribution across the nation. Speaking at the National Economic Council meeting, President Tinubu urged governors to work together to meet the needs of citizens, emphasizing the importance of boosting food production and providing relief to Nigerians. And news reaching us, a fire has consumed some sections of the Karu market in Abuja. The fire, which began late in the evening yesterday, was still raging at about past 12 a.m. when News Central Television left the scene. Fire service officials were still trying to put out the fire, and many shops were razed down with their goods totally lost, and some traders who we spoke to say they have lost all their livelihoods. Abuja Bureau Chief Amadin Uyi was on the scene of the fire and gives us a vivid description of what he met on ground.
Rest for the day, so I went home. So I was told that a fire was in the market, so I had to rush down here. Again, getting to the market, everything, the fire has raised everything. There was, as you can see for yourself, there's nothing left in the market. There's nothing left in the market. I think the market is completely raised out. So I need to appeal to the government to come to our aid. As you can see now, there's nothing that you can get out from the market.
Actually, I don't have the full information. I don't know actually what happened, but I was called this evening that the whole market is on fire, and unfortunately I came. Even my own shop was closed down.
Wow, what were you selling?
I deal with foodstuffs and food items, condiments, bags of rice, bags of dairy, bags of foodstuffs.
As you are now, what is the feeling like?
It's very bitter and very sad. I just feel like someone could help me out and help my fellow traders in the market, because it's very bitter. There are those who, these places, they're supposed to living on daily basis. And seeing that this thing has happened, some even collapsed, some just fell, some enter into hypertension, some just feel like the whole world has ended. So we are appealing to the government, to the federal government, and to the authorities that can help us in this situation.
A really sad situation. You can see the inferno behind me. Everything along its path has been consumed. Traders have lost their goods. Some of them have lost their entire livelihoods in the fire. We have spoken to several who say they don't know how to start all over again. But at this moment, what we can say and what we have seen on ground is that the Federal Fire Service is still battling to put off the fire. But unfortunately, it cannot get to this position because of the way the market is constructed. Some are pleading on government to come to their aid and rescue them because coupled with the inflation, the hardship, now they have nowhere to turn to.
Very sad situation indeed. We move now to judicial matters. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has called for disciplinary action against the counsel of the former governor of Kogi State over his inability to produce Yahaya Bello in court. Now, this caused a mild drama at the Federal High Court in Abuja as the defense counsel applied to withdraw his appearance for the former governor. Marvelous Obumanu was there and now reports.
The former Kogi governor is facing a 19-count charge bordering on his alleged complicity in money laundering, breach of trust, and misappropriation of public funds to the tune of about 80.2 billion naira. However, for the fifth consecutive sitting, the former governor has refused to make himself available to take his plea, while his defense team have also been unable to honor their agreement with the court by providing the accused. It was a bit dramatic in the courtroom as EFCC's legal counsel, Kemi Pinheiro, visibly expressed his displeasure over the failure of Yahaya Bello's legal counsel to produce the former governor in court to take his plea. EFCC's counsel urged the court to dock the senior advocate to serve as a deterrent and to also preserve the integrity of the legal profession. But in a twist, Yahaya Bello's counsel sought the order of the court to discontinue his appearance for the former governor. Yahaya Bello earlier resisted the attempt by the anti-graft agency to effect his arrest several months ago, and since then, his whereabouts has remained unknown. At the resumed court hearing, counsel to the EFCC berated the defense counsel for saying they are still consulting with elders to plead to the former governor to appear in court.
The court has on its record undertakings made by the different two senior advocates promising to produce him in court. It was as a result of that promise that the state stepped down the issue of his arrest. Now, today in court, they have not produced him. He's not in court. We have now invoked the disciplinary powers of the court because a promise, an undertaking to the court, is akin, a breach of a promise or undertaking to the court is akin to a breach of an injunction. We have now asked the court to proceed against the two senior advocates.
Meanwhile, counsel to Bello insisted that he never told the court that he was going to produce his clients in court. He frowned at the EFCC for blaming Bello's non-appearance on him and urging the court to effect subsequent disciplinary action, saying the anti-graft agency has also, in time past, disobeyed a subsisting court order not to arrest the former governor. Having listened to the grounds of application by both legal counsels, the trial judge, Justice Emeka Nwite, adjourned to the 17th of July for ruling. It still remains to be seen what will be the outcome of this ruling. But remember, a former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onohen, has once been docked by a tribunal. But we'll get to find out on the 17th of July. In Abuja for News Central, Marvelous Obomman.
In the meantime, protesters from the Concerned Kogi Citizens Forum have gathered in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, to protest alleged electoral malpractice in the recent Kogi State governorship election. The group claims the election failed to meet stipulated standards of transparency and fairness, saying widespread fraud was witnessed during the use of the bimodal voters accreditation system. News Central's Joshua Imarai tells us more.
These protesters are members of the concerned Kogi Citizens Forum. Dissatisfied with the conduct of the last governorship election in the state, they are accusing Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission of using its beavers machine to perpetrate fraud during the poll.
What we're out here to say is that the taxpayers' money that has been spent heavily to bring about the bill should not go under the carpet, because the bill is pro-Nigeria. The bill is pro-people. But whatever is happening now is against the wishes of the Nigerians. It is against the wishes of the people.
Professor Mahmoud, if you know professors from universities cannot conduct a credible election for you to maintain your name as INEC chairman, please give us a mechanic.
Dr. Mahmoud and his team came to Kogi State before the election in Kogi State, 11/11. He told Kogi State that Rivers will give us a credible election. But very unfortunate, the election that was conducted was not abide by Rivers' rule. And another problem we are facing in this country, judiciary coup against democracy must stop. Judiciary coup against democracy must stop. Yes!
The protesters are also calling on the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission to guarantee the proper deployment and use of beavers machine in the upcoming off-cycle elections in Ondo and Edo states. They say this is essential to ensure transparency and accountability in the electoral process. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Always ask the questions with our protests are the answers to the unending questions and the unending irregularities in our system. Well, we're going to show a break while we ponder on that rhetoric question. We'll be back after this. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back. Conflict reportation has been described as one major area with enormous challenges, especially for women to effectively maneuver. Now, this gave more insight into the need for more objectivity in the area of journalism in order to change the narrative. Our correspondent, Judith, tells us more.
Journalism is a profession for both men and women, just like every other profession. However, research has shown that a greater number of women face certain challenges in mediation and conflict reportage, ranging from sexual assaults, traditional beliefs, stereotypes, low self-esteem, among others. Women are inhibited in achieving their set goals in this profession. Hence, they are gathering here for more knowledge and sensitization. Clean Foundation, a non-governmental organization with support from the United Nations Women, put up this training to change the narrative necessary for fostering peace in the face of conflicts.
The objective of this 2 days workshop will explore the principle of conflict-sensitive journalism and mediation, emphasizing the unique challenges and opportunities faced especially by women in the field. Understanding the intricate dynamics of conflict will help you to report in a manner that promotes peace and empathy.
Sharing their thoughts, stakeholders believe that handing women the necessary tools will improve their skills in order to navigate issues surrounding the subject matter.
The media needs to focus more on issues that affect women. The media need to portray women as strategic partners in rebuilding or improving of our society.
This training will equip you and broaden your understanding of mediation and to reawaken your interest and commitment towards promoting the voices of women in the media for sustainable development.
These participants are not in doubt of the positive impact this training has exposed them to for the benefit of humanity.
In terms of reporting, whichever way, the only thing, one thing you shouldn't let go is don't give up on yourself. You have to be positive, you have to be focused.
We've been having a lot of sessions with women too. We've been doing step downs and with the women at the grassroots. So I think this is an opportunity to further go and build on their capacity.
Stepping down this knowledge, just like Babatu Mohammed has just said, is one of the major means of educating the wider society of women if professionalism will be enhanced for more peaceful and developed society. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Aniuwe.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, the Kano State Governor, and several others have received outstanding performance awards at the 2024 Lecture and Awards ceremony of the This Nigeria newspaper. The award ceremony and public lecture, which held in the nation's capital, Abuja, was held in commemoration of Nigeria's 25 years of unbroken democracy. News Central's Emmanuel Bogudu reports.
The conversation on sustaining Nigeria's unbroken democracy has continued, and this time, many stakeholders involved in the fight for Nigeria's democracy over 20 years ago led the chat.
What manner, what genre of democracy is it?
If we don't get in, who is going to there?
True to the theme of the ceremony, 25 years of Nigeria's unbroken democracy, prospects, challenges, and possibilities. Many at the event say it's not been a smooth sail for the nation, as there have been questions about the growth of the nation's democracy, current democratic practice, and preferred ways to address them.
As America did between May and September in 1787, when they met in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to have a more perfect union. And they came out with a constitution subjected to 39 signatories out of the 50 that attended, and subjected to a referendum of the people. And that is why America's constitution, which is just 7,591 words and 27 amendments, have been able to stand the test of time. But if you have a militarily imposed constitution like the type we are using, which is actually a schedule attached to Decree number 24 of 1999, people ignore it. A constitution that has 67 items on the exclusive legislative list, including the Marriage Act. What is the federal government's business with marriage between a man and a woman?
That's what the ANC in South Africa did. After the struggle, they took over political power. But after our struggle in 99, 98, 99, we made a fundamental mistake and said we are not going to cooperate with the group.
So it is not as if it's a very, don't sit down, let me not deceive you that Nigerians are suffering. Who does not know that Nigerians are suffering? That is one of the story. And we should not be simple, we should distinguish between theory and real practice. You know, when we like to come to the public and begin to conduct what Nigerians like, we have to crash time. This American has been making a lot of efforts, and you know where we're going from. We would not expect within a short time, economy that was down, everything was this way was bubbling, and then you expect within a short time, everything will be ready.
5 outstanding Nigerians were honored, including the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, the governors of Kano and Akwa Ibom states, a renowned labor leader, and the special investigator of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The organizer, This Nigerian newspaper, says that the awardees achieved remarkable feats in the discharge of their duties with common zeal and commitment.
And the award is for courage and leadership. You know what that means, especially for somebody who is ruling Kano. And we are happy because essentially they have found out what he has been able to achieve within the 1 year he's in office. In terms of education, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of social and economic development of the state. So we are very happy with this, and you know the kind of environment we are. So you have to be courageous for you to be able to make impact. And you know how we came to power, and you know now it's not the question of politics, it's the question of governance. So our concentration, the focus is on governance, and we are happy to see that this day Nigeria has been able to identify this courage, these successes, and award this prestigious and historic award to His Excellency. We are very happy and appreciative of it.
I feel I'm giving the challenge to continue to do more, to continue to look out for accountability and ensure there are consequences where there are issues.
Nigeria should keep talking to itself to get better. We can never get tired of talking. It's always better to judge than to war. But after talking, we must get back to action. That's for the lecture. For the awards, to encourage individuals. That's why we keep our team lean slim, compact, driven by integrity. We don't just give awards.
With 25 years of unbroken democracy in Nigeria, the general consensus at this ceremony is that the continuous scrutiny of the nation's democratic practice will lead to progress and development. In Abuja for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
And now we'll go back. We're still in the capital, Abuja, about the fire at the Karu market. Now, scenes joining your screen there was from last night all the way down to 2 a.m. or about midnight, where our correspondent who was live there was still showing that the fire was blazing up everything in its wake. And so this morning, we're about to connect to our correspondent, Emmanuel Bagudu, who is live at the market to give us update on the fire. Emmanuel, are you there?
Yes, good morning from Abuja.
Emmanuel, good morning to you. What's the update? Let me know what's happening. Have they been able to put out the fire? What's the damage looking like?
Yeah, it's a very devastating inferno and a lot of disappointment, a lot of heartbreaks here in Abuja, in Karu, the Abuja Municipal Area Council. Traders are still counting their losses, and of course, it's a very, very overwhelming inferno, but the fire service tried their best, but unfortunately a lot of damage has been done already.
That's just looking at the scenes there. It's just really sad indeed. It looks like a grey morning for the traders. Were you able to speak to any of them? Were they able to get insurance? I know insurance is not a culture for us here in this part of the world. But were they able to get insurance? You know, were you able to speak to a first responder to let you know how the fire started? Let's hear from you.
It would be too early to actually identify the source because the fire service are still investigating. And of course, those affected are still devastated and so heartbroken that they can't even speak. So they are still trying to put themselves together, brace up, and see how they can pick up the pieces of their businesses that has remained.
It's a very sad situation going on there, and just seeing that. How many shops were there, and was it a mix of different type of trade when you look at it? Was it food, clothing, textile, services? The market itself, was it an array of different services and goods being sold?
Well, the Karu market is a very big market, and it's a satellite town. A lot of damages have been done. We have a lot of textile materials, food, bookshops, and what have you, because we have a lot of people, settling in this environment, very close to the FCT, just 5 kilometers to the city center. So a lot of people are residing in this area, those within the middle class, and so you expect that the population is very, very high. And then of course, things that will be lost in this kind of inferno will be like food, clothing, and then essential needs, and of course even medicines. Yeah.
Very sad scenes indeed. My heart goes out to all of the traders. Our heart goes out to the entire traders and those who have lost businesses and properties there. And we do hope that they were able to find strength and solace in rebuilding back again. Emmanuel, many thanks. As Emmanuel Bagudu is our correspondent live in Abuja, giving us update on the Karu market that set ablaze from last night. And now to updates from the debate from last night or early hours of this morning. It's halting, Joe Biden's struggle to allay concerns for he's too old for his second term in the White House in a fiery debate with Donald Trump marked by personal insults. Now, Trump lashed out at his successor, calling him a failure on the economy and the world stage. Biden looked to hit back, but his delivery was faltered as he spoke rapidly in raspy, trailing off voice, stumbling on his words, and even stared open-mouthed. Now, his performance after he spent the week secluded in preparation sparks new concern within his Democratic Party as polls show Trump is tied or ahead for the November election. It was the first debate ever between a president and former president, and each accused the other of being history's worst. And still on the U.S. presidential debate, U.S. politicians have commented on Thursday's U.S. presidential debate, which carried huge stakes for both Joe Biden and Donald Trump as they battle for an advantage in their tight race for the White House.
And nowadays, because he is under such a vast criminal cloud, he is obsessed with himself. He's not simply running for the White House. He's running from the jailhouse.
But do you
That's his
think...
problem.
But if somebody at home is asking themselves, who's going to make me proud of being an American again? That's where Trump won this hands down. He mopped the floor. I thought it was a great outcome.
And now for today's business news, let's join our business desk for more.
Welcome to Business News. In Nigeria, the federal government is advancing in talks with development finance institutions to establish a special purpose vehicle, SPV, for a 90,000-kilometer expansion of the country's fiber optic network. This was revealed by Communications and Digital Economy Minister Bosun Tijani. The SPV, modeled after successful public-private partnerships, will manage the project's implementation, finances, and operations. The initiative hopes to boost Nigeria's fiber optic infrastructure to 125,000 kilometers, improving nationwide internet access. The project aligns with the National Broadband Plan 2020 to 2025 and is expected to enhance GDP and connectivity, especially in rural areas. Consumer confidence in South Africa showed a slight improvement in the second quarter, driven by factors such as reduced load shedding, lower fuel prices, and a slowdown in food inflation. This is according to data released on Thursday. The Consumer Confidence Index, sponsored by First National Bank, FNB, and compiled by the Bureau for Economic Research, BER, rose to minus 12 points from minus 15 points in the previous quarter. However, confidence levels among high-income households remained stagnant due to persistently high interest rates and uncertainty surrounding the formation of the government of national unity. Zimbabwe's central bank has maintained its benchmark interest rate at 20%, despite anticipating easing inflationary pressures under its gold-backed currency, the ZiG. Governor John Mushayevahu stated that the current tight monetary policy stance would continue to ensure stability. After adopting the ZiG, Zimbabwe's monthly consumer prices fell 2.4% in May, with inflation expected to remain below 5% by year-end. The ZiG, backed by 2.5 tons of gold and $100 million in foreign currency, is Zimbabwe's sixth attempt at a stable local currency in 15 years. The IMF has deemed the switch to ZiG an important step. And finally, Zambia's economy is grappling with a severe El Nino-induced drought, leading to a 29-month high annual inflation rate of 15.2% in June, the worst in almost 6 decades, driven by increased cost of food items. The economic growth has slowed down with a 2.2% expansion in the first quarter. The drought has also escalated food prices and disrupted inflation control efforts. The IMF has advised Zambia to uphold a stringent monetary stance. Additionally, the country is facing power shortages due to the drought, necessitating increased electricity imports. That's a package on Business News at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasome Peter. The news continues shortly. Bye for now.
And history has been made. Bronny James, the 19-year-old son of Los Angeles' Lakers superstar LeBron James, was selected 55th overall by the Los Angeles Lakers in Thursday's second round of the NBA draft. Now, four-time NBA Most Valuable Player LeBron James, the 39-year-old Lakers playmaker who is a four-time NBA champion, has said he would like to play alongside his son next season in what will be a first for the NBA. No father-son duo has ever played alongside each other in the league before. And while Bronny is not expected to log significant minutes in his rookie season, it will no doubt be a special moment when they appear together for the first time on the NBA hardwood. And that's all for now, but before we go, remember that you can send us your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number now showing on the screen. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on social media. We're at News Central TV. You can also watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Judith, Atibi.